going on, guys? My name's Jackson Gage, and this is my Jiu-Jitsu journal. I'm kind of just documenting my journey in Jiu-Jitsu from start to wherever it takes me. And this is going to be a review of my injury time, which was 6 months. And the 6 months almost coincided with COVID as well. So I just started back this week to training, and I just wanted to go over how I'm feeling and what I've done to at least start to heal some of my injuries. Okay, so at the end of February, or probably toward the end of February, I injured my shoulder at training right before COVID hit. And I believe, because I had a torn labrum on this side before, I believe that it was a torn labrum on this side. It's what I have now. And it was just, I was in a bad position. I had a strong kid on top of me who was just squishing the shit out of me. He didn't crank my arm or anything. He just had me in a really weird position, and with all his weight on me. And when I got up, I couldn't move my shoulder. And so I had to sit on the sidelines for a few weeks. During that time on the sidelines while watching, which is always difficult, but if you follow this channel, I've been injured multiple times since starting. And I'll still go to class, I'll watch, but I can't participate, obviously. So that's what I was doing. I went to the doctor a couple times, and they started giving me some physical therapy for my shoulder. And then COVID hit, COVID-19 and the lockdown and all that other nonsense that's been going on. And when that hit was the same time I was researching some cures for my lower back pain, because I've been suffering with lower back pain. It started turning into sciatica when I started, as I started training more and more. The pain started going down the right side of my leg from my right lower back. And something that popped up that had a bunch of good reviews was spinal decompression. So I went to this guy. He's a chiropractor. He has two spinal decompression tables. Really high, looks like a high-tech piece of machinery. And I went there because I couldn't train. I figured I'll do some work on my back during this time. And so I went, I paid a hefty amount of money. I mean, it wasn't a huge amount, but it was a good little investment. And I started doing this spinal decompression. They lay you on a table and they tie up your hips to this machine. And basically what they're doing is they're pulling your body apart. And what he said is you're kind of just opening up and making space for your discs to get hydrated, to get some hydration, because they get really dry, and that's where they get a lot of the pain comes from. Don't quote me on any of this. I'm not a scientist or doctor, but it made sense to me. Open up your spine, which is really tight down there, and let some fluids come into the disc. So that's what I did. I did that for a couple of weeks. And I don't remember if it was the third week, somewhere in there, we started moving up the pressure that he was putting. He said, I'm going to move the pressure to, I think, 90 pounds or whatever it was. And okay, whatever I can do to get rid of this nagging back pain that I've been having. And we did that. And then that night, I was in the worst pain of my life. The worst pain of my life, man. I couldn't walk. I couldn't sit in my car. I couldn't sit down in general. Even to lay down on my bed, I would have to, first I'd have to think about it for 15 minutes and breathe and meditate. And then there were lots of yells coming from my place because I'd never been in this much pain before, man. I'd have to lay in bed. Okay, it's time for bed. Okay, let's think about this. Let's meditate. Let's breathe. Okay, now I'd have to I'd have to just fall on my stomach and then prop some clothes up under me to make a prop. And then once I got there, I'd have to breathe for a little bit and grab my legs and lift them over so I could roll over onto my back to try to sleep. Okay? I went grocery shopping. I remember I went grocery shopping. This was right at the beginning of COVID, and there's like lines out of Trader Joe's with people with masks. And here I am. I go get my groceries. I wait in line in excruciating fucking pain. And then I go to my car. I put the groceries in, and I can't get in the fucking car. I sat there for nearly 40 minutes pacing by my car. How the fuck am I going to do this? I called my mom. I called my ex-wife. She lives nearby. Fuck. I'm going to need some help. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm disabled, apparently. And so I just had to breathe. And that movement from standing up to getting in the car, it was excruciating, and I knew it was coming, and my body didn't want to do it. And I had to figure out a way to do it. You know, I had to sit down, and then I had to lift my legs up and lift my legs into the car with a lot of pain. And this went on for 6 fucking weeks, and it didn't get any better. I went to the emergency room twice because I was in so much pain. They gave me some shots, and on the second time to the emergency room, they sent me to the spine center with like spine specialists to figure it out. So I went there, I got an MRI. They couldn't figure out what was wrong still, just some inflammation. And basically, luckily after 6 weeks it started getting a little better, but it was 6 months of me not being able to do anything physical. Not anything physical. So I started getting really fucking depressed, man. Because you're like, well, during that 6 weeks, you're like, am I fucking disabled? What's going on here? I can't sit down, I can't walk, I can't get in my car. Is this ever gonna get better? And no one had any answers, so that became a little bit fucking stressful. Once it started getting a little bit better, I started going to the spine doctor. They gave me physical therapy, which didn't do much. I just thought, and a ton of medicine they were giving me, I thought, well, I'm gonna have to wait this out. I'm gonna have to wait this out and see what happens. And I just tried to stay positive during that whole time. Like, hey, this is gonna fucking go away like every other injury I've ever had. Now, during that time, toward the end of that, I started, a good buddy of mine who I host a podcast with called Soul Rollers. It's personal development and jiu-jitsu. His name's William Dennis. He started getting back into training because his gym opened back up during COVID, and he just took to it like wildfire again. And he started training 5-6 days a week, talking to me every day about it like we used to do before I got hurt, talking every day. And I'm like, fuck, man, I got to get back in there. So I started really researching really hardcore on what the fuck can I do to help my back. And what I figured out was, I think it's my psoas muscle that is causing all the problems. And so, long story short, I went and got a psorite. I don't know if you know what a psorite is, a little device like this, and you dig it into your psoas muscle in the front, and it relieves the pain in the back. And I started doing that, and I started realizing this is what's wrong, man. My fucking hips are so tight that I'm becoming disabled. I mean, they've always been more tight than anybody. You know, they've always been extra tight. I can't stretch or any of that. And now I'm realizing over time, I'm becoming fucking disabled by this. So I got this psoas, and I started really just every day, 3 times a day, 30-40 minutes, digging into my psoas, doing hip flexor stretches, stretching my hips as much as I can. And then I started feeling like I could do squats. So I started doing air squats that are opening up my hips. And I got to the point where after 6 months, I'm like, man, I can go and try jiu-jitsu. And that's what I did this week. I got back in there for the first time. I didn't roll my first 2 classes, but I got in there and I felt fucking amazing. I felt like I forgot everything. Don't know what I was doing. Out of shape, worse than I've ever been. But to be back in there has been healing to me because I was depressed. The last 6 months, man, I was battling depression like never before, man. I started fasting really hardcore, 20 hours a day, to try to just help me keep a clear mind and not be depressed. But I got back in jiu-jitsu this week, and man, you get in there with your buddies, you see your buddies, you get a good sweat, you get a good workout, you're learning something, you're back working toward a goal, and I'm feeling really fucking good, and I couldn't be more thankful. And I really think that was sparked by letting my body heal, being patient with myself, and that psorite, the psorite, Psorite. I'll put a link in here for it, but that psorite really fucking changed everything for me, man. And I'll make just a video just on that too. But the psorite really did it for me, man. Because once I started doing that, I felt like, fuck, it's opening up. I can do some squats, and I can do some more hip flexor stretches. And then I realized, like, man, I need to be stretching every single day of my life to be able to feel good all the time. I need to stretch every day, especially the psoas and the hip flexors. That's huge for jiu-jitsu. So I went today and I rolled lightly for the first time. I felt really good, man. I felt better than I did before I got injured because I've become really aware of my body now, and because of that awareness, I'm stretching all the time. I'm doing what I need to do to feel good. And sometimes it takes getting injured to become aware of what your issues are so that you can, you know, fix them or work on them. And that's why I love jiu-jitsu, because it will shine a light on whatever's wrong with you. If your fucking psoas is tight, it'll shine a light on that. If your ego's too big, it'll shine a light on that. You know, if you can't take losing, it'll shine a light on that. If you're working on depression, it'll shine a light on that. Whatever is going on, it's going to shine a light in your life, and you'll be able to better yourself because you're going into that jiu-jitsu class. So I spent 6 months, and really, I'm going to tell you this, the reason why I willed myself into better health was because I loved Brazilian jiu-jitsu so fucking much that I wasn't going to allow this fucking injury to stop me from getting back into it. And so I just put it in my mind, you're going to get better, motherfucker. You're going to get better. And if you're injured, don't give up on yourself. You're going to get better, especially if it's your lower back, man. Hit me up at The Increased Life, and we can start a little dialogue or listen to our podcast, Soul Rollers, and we'll try to get you back in the gym so you're feeling better like I was. Because I thought I was fucking disabled again, guys. I thought I was fucking 6 weeks of being disabled. What do you know, and no one's giving you any fucking light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, it's going to be good. You're just like, oh, so now I can't sit, I can't move, and I'm in excruciating pain 100% of the time, and this is my fucking life. No one has an answer. You know, it gets a little bit scary. It gets fucking scary. But then I just put it in my mind like, no, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm not gonna be in pain my whole life. We're gonna fix this. The human body is amazing. You can fix anything. You can heal yourself in any way possible if you put your mind to it, man. So anyhow, that's just my story of returning. I'm feeling good. I'm back at it. I'm gonna be posting these more, maybe once a week, every 2 weeks. I'd appreciate your questions. Again, right now I'm 41. I'm a white belt. I've had a bunch of injuries, but I'm learning how to avoid those injuries now. I love this jiu-jitsu, and I've been doing this for a little over, I think, a year and a half now. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I don't know how long I've been doing it, but I've been doing it about a year and a half, give or take some with the injuries and stuff. But hit me up, man, at The Increased Life. And yeah, man, keep training. And if you're injured, pay more attention to your body and make sure you're stretching before practice, after practice, before bed. 3 times a day if possible, man. Stretch. That will keep your longevity where it needs to be, and you'll keep going and keep reaching your goals and keep getting better. And that's what it's about, getting better every single day, feeling better every single day. And when you feel better every single day, then your life gets better every single day. And that's what we want, okay? So Jackson Gage, this is my jiu-jitsu journal, Increased Life. And go listen to our podcast, Soul Rollers, on iTunes and wherever else there's podcasts, Anchor, Stitch FM, I think iHeartRadio, hopefully. And yeah, all right. Peace and love to you. And we don't just talk about it, we live it. All right. Peace. Until we meet again.